Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Conquer the Clutter podcast for this week. We had to cancel the last two, so we are on the same topic, and the same topic is goals. All right, because without goals, we're not going to get anywhere. We will kind of stumble, and things will be serendipitous, and we will be frustrated, and then we will look and wonder. So. Today, we're going to look at how to figure out what we're actually doing in the absence of what later on we look back and wish we might have done. All right. And we're going to look at why we're actually doing it. So I'm going to ask everybody if they would take out their pens and paper. All right. And think about currently, not in the all over picture of your whole life. That's too big right now. But just currently, what is especially, we're talking, the operative word there is especially important to you. And it's so important to you that you continue to do it. It's not a wish list. It's something that is or needs to be part of your life. And enough of the time it is. And we're going to talk about the quantifiability of it. Okay. Now, ask yourself, in pursuit of that thing that is especially important to you, or another competing priority currently, what do you use to comfort yourself? Because if you're agitated and you are distracted by the fact that you are in no way on the path you need to be for what life is handing you right now, what is especially important to you is a vague dream because you're dealing with the aggravation of not meeting your own needs adequately, not perfectly, but adequately. So, in pursuit of what you use to comfort yourself, chocolate is a good substitute if the real thing isn't there, apparently. Um, do you comfort yourself with things in the absence of what you really know you need? Do you comfort yourself with alternative things that are things? And to avoid the discomfort of not giving yourself adequately, not perfectly, but adequately, what you actually do need as an individual, is that disruption inside that just, it's like wearing shoes that don't quite fit or underwear that are just a little bit tight. All right. It's aggravating. Okay. I know you well enough to say that, people. Um, is that what the build-up's about? Attempts to find something as an alternative that really doesn't cut the mustard. Now, if you didn't have things, paper being a thing, other thing, you look around yourself. What are the things that make up the piles? If you didn't have things, what would comfort you adequately, often enough, in the ways you actually need to be comforted well enough? We're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for nirvana. This isn't a Hollywood movie. All right. We're not looking for that level of superficiality. We're looking for simple things that meet your need enough. And if you didn't have things, What would you comfort yourself with well enough? And where are those things that either do meet the need enough or are a reasonable substitute in the absence of what you really want and need until you can get to what you really want and need? Where are those things? Are they at hand or are the piles at hand? The substitutes. Because the substitutes are a little like being thirsty in a boat at sea in salt water, and you are surrounded by water, but it's the wrong thing. It's water, but it's the wrong thing, and it will never satisfy you. In fact, it will destroy you in small, gradual ways. You give up, you get discouraged, you get overwhelmed, you start talking rough about yourself. You're not satisfied, you're not adequate, you're not, and life becomes a list of knots. Along with the feeling that they're KNOTs as well. You're tied up. If you don't have easy access to the things that comfort you good enough, well enough, all right, how can you get access? Or better yet, how can you get something that is so close that it's the next best thing until the ideal, the best choice is available? And the best choice being the thing that fits the most with you. Some people need quiet. Some people need company. Some people need puppies. Some people need cats. Some people need neighbors. Some people need no neighbors. Some people need rest. Some people need, what do you need? What would make the difference for you that you wouldn't accept the substitute, an inadequate substitute? So let's ponder that a bit. Right now, I can see you're writing down. Hallelujah. Thank you. Because it's really important to me as I invest this time and this work to do the podcasts, that it's not a listening experience. It's not entertainment. I, it's company, yes, but you actually walk away with a better insight into something that really is important to you day after day after day. So if you could, if you're not right now, would you please write down what you believe right now, just something small, right now, is what you need the most? What is it? Doesn't have to be earth shattering. What do you need? Now, where is it? And if you can't get access, that specifically, what is the best alternative right now? So the next question then is, if you're not meeting your needs and you're not even really stopping every so often to ask yourself, particularly when life's kind of a little bit not smooth, you're not asking yourself, what do I need right now? Where is it? And how do I get enough of it to make enough of a difference? The next question would be, do you keep everything because you're afraid of losing or not having something that in the future you might need? You're not really asking yourself about and taking care of right now. You're looking to avoid a possible need, and we can't anticipate those. Right? What kinds of things generate that feeling of insecurity in you? Because all you really have, the most important priority is right now. Now, that isn't the whole story. All right, I'd be misleading you if I said that. No, it is important to look forward, but it's also important to fill yourself enough or to make it a priority to fill yourself enough right now. With that feeling of handling the future, that feeling of insecurity that you need to be ready. All right. Is there any element of loneliness or emptiness? And what would be a good enough, adequate, satisfying thing that's not tangible that you have that deals with loneliness or emptiness or stress or anxiety, whatever your body with that part that's not working well enough because your needs aren't being even questioned sometimes, often. Something's going to fill in the gap, believe me, and it's not going to be something that meets the need. It's not something that is good for you when you don't make yourself enough of a priority to regularly check, how am I doing? So if you didn't have that thing, all right, the thing that, if it's loneliness, company, if it's, you know, something else, um, is there anything else that would give you not exactly the equal solution, not exactly, but so close to it that it was truly good enough? My puppies are wonderful substitutes for that interim time when I'm thinking, what's lacking here? All right, what do I need? One of them always, a big sloppy kiss across the face when you're not expecting it is always just the thing. All right. And in the process of accessing the thing that you do need, and what is it? What is it? Or what are they? Maybe it's not just one thing, but in the process of accessing the thing you need, do you make decisions about sorting your things, going through them? Do you making the decision so difficult because you're already kind of in a bit of a semi-turmoil or lack that you postpone doing it or finishing it because you don't have enough steam in the tank. You don't have enough energy or motivation. And so you leave it and the piles grow, the papers in particular. It's a normal experience. There's nothing wrong with you. That happens to a lot of people. All right. And the reason is that when decisions are decided or chosen, the path that we've chosen is pretty much set. And that can be a scary thing. That can be an unsure, insecure thing when you make that commitment to what's going to happen to what's in the piles. Because remember, every day there's joy, fun, and play. reminding yourself and engaging in something that reminds you you are a growing, learning, developing human being. This is not the whole story, no matter how good or how bad the day is. And then there's the plain old work that nobody wants to do. All right. I have a theory that there's something wrong with people who roll over and go, I can hardly wait to do that thing that's just been really stumping me. All right. Like, I don't know anybody like that. I'm not sure I want to know anybody like that. Um, so don't worry about that not happening. All right. You're probably more normal than they are. But the point is, are you avoiding making decisions that might clear away something that is in the path of what you need? Because when you make the decision, it's final, it's a definite. Sometimes it feels like there's no going back. And if you do it, and you know what, sometimes it doesn't work out that well. That's just the law of averages. What's your alternative, though? What is the alternative? What's your alternative to the fear and the, oh, well, I knew that wasn't going to work, but I did it anyway. You had to take the chance and do something. It could have worked. Another time it might. No decision is irreversible. And I'm not talking about going and getting the papers out of the garbage. I'm talking about maybe changing the way you maintain things so that it's not the problem that it becomes when it just sort of takes over. So, what's the alternative? Whatever you need right now, other than a glass of water, which you can all get up and get, in the absence of it being obvious and immediately available, what do you do instead? That's about making goals. Reasonable, doable, in the context of who you are today, not who you wish you were, not who you think you should be, not whoever is the authority or has been the authority in your life told you you should be. Who you are today is good enough, smart enough, competent enough. You're here every week. Believe me, you're earnest about finding the solutions for yourself. And that starts with making goals. Goals are just the stepping stones to decisions, so that when you look back in your mind at something you tried and you made a choice about what choices you had, what choices to take, what choices to try, what choices you had more faith in or not. If it worked out, great. And if it didn't work out at all that well, what was your response internally to yourself? Because what we tell ourselves is the most important thing. And I'll tell you, I think I've said this many times, but I'm going to say it again. I was a social worker for some time when I heard them say, well, it quite often isn't the thing that gets you. All right. It's the meaning you apply to it. And I remember thinking at the time, I can still picture myself thinking, I didn't say it out loud. I was in a crowd. And I thought to myself, are you out of your ever loving mind? With all of the things, now I was working with disadvantaged people and they hadn't created the disadvantage. And are you out of your ever loving mind? Like, this is just like, and then I thought to myself, and I started to listen to my clients. All right. And this was before I went into hoarding. And I'd listen to them and I'd think, you know what? What is different with the people who claw their way out of this than the people who remain stuck with things they didn't cause, but it's there to deal with. And you know what it was? It was what they told themselves. Because when people don't accept the limits, they don't have to be rude, they don't have to be violent, they don't have to be obnoxious. They just don't. It's amazing how when they meet their need, the larger need, not the immediate need quite often, that's a stepping stone out of the situation. Oh, they only know that when they look back at the path they took. All right. But it is what we tell ourselves that disables us or enables us. It is. And I'm not any different from you. My life isn't perfect. And every day there are things that, and I have to be really careful about what I tell myself and what's important. The other thing is, right now, are you clear about why your life has meaning? Are you clear about why you matter? Why it's worth making the effort? Why it's worth trying, persisting? Or have you allowed yourself, maybe by what you're telling yourself in part, or maybe what you're listening to and accepting that somebody else is saying, or the voices on the committee? We know the voices on the committee, all right? And they weren't perfect either. I have news for you. If we really knew the story, their story, they weren't perfect either. All right. Have you allowed yourself to get discouraged and disappointed? Maybe the last few things didn't go that well, the tries. Well, you won't do them again. So now the likelihood is, with a little research and support and the right tools, you're not going to repeat it, which means every time you do continue to try something, you increase the probability you're going to have a winner. It probably isn't going to be perfect, but it's going to be better than what you learned from. I thank whoever is in charge up there for sending me the challenges because I never want to repeat them. All right. And in the meantime, sometimes we need to just pause and lick our wounds. We're discouraged, we're disappointed. What did you do? What will you let yourself do next? That's different from what you've done before that kept you stuck or got you stuck. What will you do next? When you look back, now don't go back in your mind, but just look back. What was the biggest cost to you for whatever the choice was you made that meant you didn't really achieve the goal you set? What was the biggest cost to you? Did you survive it? Okay. Maybe you're a little battered, bruised, disappointed, discouraged, frustrated. Did you survive it? Are you still standing? You are, you're here. That means you have hope. That means you have determination. What you're looking for is tools. What you're looking for is maybe learning from other people's experience. And that helps you kind of fine tune the choices that you need to make to handle the piles. Did you survive it? Did you walk away from it? If knowing what you know now, all right, from whatever that need is that probably isn't being met adequately. And you've written down what you need on that paper in front of you. And you're thinking, I have no idea how I'm going to get that. I've tried. It wasn't a big success, wasn't a big failure, but I don't know. What could you do? What could you try to improvise? What other choice? You don't have to commit to it 100%, but even try it on for size. Like the 15 minutes a day. Okay. Or something else if you've got another idea that works for you. 15 minutes a day and finish what you do with that one task. Or did you give up? Because it wasn't exactly what you pictured the solution would be. It didn't feel good enough. By telling yourself that your effort, unless you completely went out and did the thing that caused the problem, that means you have a need. Okay. Short of that, you're making progress. It might be slow. How did giving up, how did picturing an ideal solution and being discouraged that it's just too far away? You will get there. You will get there one step at a time. That's what energizes you. Hope and the experience of success, even small success. Literally, repeated efforts, 15 minutes a day at a problem, and then take your break. The last time you tried to do something similar to meeting the need that you have right now, or a need, how did you end up leaving that situation? Did you leave it discouraged? Remember, you have to treat yourself like a puppy. Okay? Puppies are wise little beings. You have to end on a reward. It doesn't have to be a big reward. It just has to be a series of small, little, successful rewards. It's the world's worst day and you've got a pile of papers in front of you. Take one of them and solve it. One of them and solve it. And then don't listen to the voice on the committee that says, well, that's never going to get you anywhere, one paper at a time. It will. You'll be surprised. And was there any chance that you settled on the easiest available option, but it wasn't satisfying your need, any part of your need, really? It was a substitute. Accept no substitutes. You're worth what you need. You're worth what you need, and you're worth what you want. Now, when I structured this material, I structured it for many different types of ways that people get distracted. All right. This one may not fit for you, but it does for many. Okay. So do you fall in love or do you commit to things? See the benefit, the merit, the whatever about them as if they were people? All that means is that you have a very active amygdala. all right, when it fires off, this is big with clothing. This is big with collectibles. This is big with things that give you that jolt of joy that you're not getting otherwise. You need the jolt of joy. Everybody does. Every single person does in their own way. Don't you kid yourself. And sometimes when you don't ask yourself the right questions about what you really need, what will really satisfy you gradually and work to achieve it gradually, all right? Sometimes you get distracted by what's in front of you, and it's an easy substitute. It'll never, ever do it. It will never, ever do it for you. Okay. But your amygdala is going, yeah, we're having a ball here. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, this is really working. And you feel the pump of serotonin and dopamine, and yay. And it feels good until it stops. And then you feel like you've been hit by a Mack truck. All right. Because when the amygdala fires off, it is a really satisfying payoff. It really is. It's just a cheater when it isn't for what you really need. It's actually those substitutes, those little things, like you need a little pick me up and you go to the store or whatever, and before you know it, you're getting just like little things. That's your amygdala just firing off. And it feels good, feels good in the moment. There's a price to pay later, though. It's called discouragement. So if it's firing off with substitutes a lot, maybe the next question is, hate to be tough here, people, but what's the consequence to each and every one of the 46 people here of an inadequate substitute? What is the consequence to an inadequate substitute to what you really need? What is it? And do you like the substitute as well as you like the things you fell in love with? All right. Another way to let things get ahead of you is then to enter into a recycling of them. All right. How complicated do you make your sorting and your passing on, donating, giving away, whatever, selling? How complicated do you make that? Is that meeting your need? Or is that just giving you another job? Do you need another job? Do you need another task? All right. So if this part isn't for everybody, but there have to be with 40 some odd people here, there have to be people here who really are intense recyclers. They recycle so intensely that in the meantime, they're living with boxes, bags, piles in their living spaces. And are any of those things, while you recycle, all right, blocking access to your need for safety? Do you have clear pathways in and out of your home, in and out of your apartment, in and out of your bedroom? I talked to someone yesterday, and she's working on areas that are satisfying. And when we talked a little further, it came out that it's hard to get out of bed and get to the door. All right, so meet your need. Safety is always first. Safety is always first. It's not as satisfying, but it will be if you need it, when you need it. All right, that's law of averages. Put your own worth first. Do you have clear pathways in and out of your home? Is there a 33 to 36-inch path around all heat sources? The heat sources, by the way, would be your furnace, your hot water tank, your electrical panel. Sorry for the boring stuff, guys, but it's true. That is your basic need, self-protection and self-care. Not something that is necessarily terribly exciting. When you value yourself and also your mental health, all right, your mental health, that needs to be the first priority. Because if you don't value yourself enough to remain safe and happy enough, who will? So if any of those things I just talked about, nagged about is the word, have a look at them. Have a look at them. And if those areas aren't clear, the access doesn't exist right now, all right, please this week make it. Don't let anything. And when you're sorting and you're putting things down and deciding and laying things out, not in pathways. All right. Get an area, a table or something, and do your sorting on that. Okay. So now we've identified, okay, cluttered areas in your home. All right. When we've done that previously with the environmental assessment, the influences within us or around us that prompt us to make decisions. All right, frustration is one of them. Disappointment and discouragement, fatigue, boredom, ennui, loneliness. I'm going to do a whole series on loneliness. All right, tend to add clutter. You can be in an active family and still be lonely. You're lonely when you don't get your own needs met. But here's the thing, nobody else is responsible. Even if you're married, even if you're in a relationship, that other person is not as responsible for meeting your needs as you are. You are the commander of you. You are in charge of you. Okay? And when we don't get those needs met adequately, often enough, puts us in a funk. And a funk can either be an active funk where we're a pain in the neck for everybody else, or we're in a passive funk where we just start postponing solving the challenges in our life, starting with clutter. So now it's time to set goals for ourselves to actually complete the work, pieces of the work. And we're going to open the mics and turn the recording off in a minute or two. But right now, I want you to pick one thing that you know is doable. All right. And I want you, please, to carry your part of the load. My part of the load was to prepare this material, to research it, to make sure it was sound, to put it together, to clean up my face so you wouldn't have to look at me like I roll out of bed in the morning every week, every day, and I can be presentable. And here we are. Okay, so your part is S, specific. What is the goal this week? Specifically. Specifically define the goal that you will take on this week and whip. Got it? Anybody not got it? Put your hand up if you have not got it yet. I don't see any hands. Okay, we're moving forward. Measurable. How are you going to, how much of it? What is the chunk, measurable chunk that you're taking on? You are promising yourself you will whip this thing. You can describe it in inches. You can describe it by what's in close proximity to it. You can number of bags, measurable. Now, stop for a second. Write down 2 reasons why you know in your heart of hearts that that goal is achievable. A, smart has an A in it. Yeah. You know it's achievable and you are committing to achieve it. Now, write down another 2 reasons why you know that that goal is reasonable. It is reachable. You know it. You're not setting yourself up. You know it's achievable, and you know that achievable is reasonable. It's got to be reasonable. Don't set yourself up. Because you remember the puppy? You got to end on a win. And here's an interesting one. I'm going to change it a bit. The T is going to be how much time do you think it's going to take to do that, to reach that goal? What's the time allocation? Now, I want you to do another thing, all right? Write it down. And then this time next week, when you come back with what it was, when we talk about it, I want you to share, if you're willing to, please, how much time it actually took. Because that can be a really great learning experience. It can be one of the major reasons why people end on a discouragement. Because they say, oh, I can do that in half an hour. And it took them 2 hours to do it. All right. And if you're, excuse the expression, hell bent for leather, that you're going to finish it. All right. Okay. But how many times are you going to want to 4 or 8 times your allocation of time to do something? And quite often, if that's the pattern, you're not going to end like a puppy in training. It's not going to be a positive. It's going to be discouragement. And then are you really going to want to go back to it? No, you're not. You'll no. YouTube, TikTok, what becomes a best friend, a distraction, other distraction. And that's a loop many, many people don't realize they've created for themselves, all because they underestimated what was involved. Now, the inverse of that is a really great experience to have. All right. And the inverse is I don't do it in the first place. I don't make the thing to solve in the first place because I understand how much time it takes to undo it. And I don't want to keep having to do that. So that realistic part, not just in the effort, but in the time, is a huge positive learning experience. How many people here have had experiences in their life where they thought it was one thing, and when they went to do it, they did have to do it. It didn't turn out to be that at all. Like it was huge and negative. Mhm. How many people sign up for that again? Do you avoid it? Is that a normal thing? Of course. But let's reverse that. Let's learn from it. That's why I say, literally, 15 minutes a day, every single day, you'd be surprised what you can do. Okay, so we have about 12 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm going to turn off the mic